everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I'm so excited because I am going to be doing this tutorial on using the Anastasia Prism palette. So this is the palette that they launched for holiday of 2017, which I wasn't expecting them to launch anything since they just released the subculture palette about 2 months ago or so. But I am so excited that they did launch this one because it is so freaking beautiful. Like, look at these shades. They're just some gorgeous jewel tone shades that I absolutely adore, and they are very, very pigmented. I absolutely love this whole entire look. I really do feel like every single color in this palette does complement each other so well, and you really can create so many different looks with this one palette, which I really like. I like that they included a matte brow bone, shimmer brow bone, a few transition shades, and a bunch of different shimmers. So you do have a good combination of shimmers and mattes as well as some metallic shades in here too. This palette, it does retail for the same amount as the Subculture and Modern Renaissance, which is $42, and it's now available at Sephora, Ulta, Macy's, and I believe it's back in stock on the Anastasia website if I'm not mistaken. You do have multiple different places that you can pick it up, so definitely if you guys are interested in picking up this palette, I would recommend it. And then just really quick, I just wanted to give a few thoughts on the palette. Like I said, I do really like the palette a lot. I love the formula of it. It is the same exact formula as the Subculture. However, I can tell a difference in these eyeshadows compared to the Subculture because it is pressed a little bit harder. So when you dip your brush in, it's not as loose as the Subculture, which I know a lot of people are gonna really like the fact that these are pressed a lot firmer. I do find that the pigmentation of these eyeshadows are really nice, and they are very easy to blend. I will definitely give it that. I didn't have an issue with blending these eyeshadows at all. I felt like all of them worked very well together. Even over a wet base, they all worked very well. I don't really know if that just has to do with the way that the eyeshadows are pressed, or if it's maybe because of the colors. I don't really know. But I do like this palette more than I like the Subculture palette, which I really do enjoy that palette as well. But I think it's because this one has a little bit more versatility. Like, you can really do a bunch of different looks with it, and they're not all going to be smoky looks, while with the Subculture it was all smoky. Here you have your soft looks, and you also have your bold looks, which I really do enjoy. And I love that they included a brown, a matte brown, and a matte black, which is always nice. I really do feel like this palette is super versatile, so definitely when it comes to traveling, this might be one that I will be bringing with me a lot. And I think the number one thing that I love the most about this palette is the packaging. So it did come in this really nice box. It's like that NARS packaging, that's that nice rubberized feeling. And then of course it's black and gold, which if you know anything about me, black and gold is like my favorite. Like, I absolutely love black and gold. I wear black all the time, and I wear gold all the time. So I really do love the packaging of the box, as well as the packaging of the actual palette. It's that nice pretty velvet packaging with a nice gold on there as well, and then it has Prism in the back and the ingredients as well. So I really do love everything about this palette. There's not one thing that I have negative to say about it. You guys will notice too that in the tutorial I did basically use every single color in the palette. Even the 3 golden bronzy shades, I tried to incorporate them the best way that I could with this look, but I might make a different tutorial using those looks or those shadows in specific. That's all that I have to say about this palette. I 100% recommend it. If you guys are thinking about it, on the fence, definitely go ahead and pick it up. And if you guys want to learn how to recreate this look, then just continue watching. So we're starting off with the Anastasia Prism palette, which look at how beautiful this palette is. So we're going to start off with the color Lure, and I'm going to take it on a Morphe M533 brush and put that in my crease. And I'm just going to go ahead and build it up until I get the intensity that I like. And next I'm going to take the shade Eden, and I'm taking that on a Morphe M433 brush, and I'm going to go ahead and put that in my crease as well, and it's going to start deepening up the crease and kind of creating that cut crease shape. And then with a Sigma E25 brush, I'm taking the shade Saturn, and I'm going to put that in my crease as well. But I'm using this brush since it's a little smaller. It'll really make the eyeshadow more intense. And again, I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I start creating that cut crease shape that I want. And going back in with the Morphe brush and just blending out all the edges and making sure that both of the colors blend in seamlessly. And then I'm taking the shade Parallel, and I'm taking this on a MAC 219 brush. And I was going to use this to start carving out the crease shape, but as I was doing it, I didn't like how it looked. So then I took an e.l.f. eyeliner brush, and I'm using that to really define that cut crease shape. And as you see, I start always in the outer corner first, because that's where I want most of the pigmentation to be. And then I bring the rest into the inner corner. And then we're going to go in with the Sigma E25 brush and a little bit of that Saturn shade again, and this is going to help to start blending out that parallel color that we put in the crease without getting rid of the definition. And you really want to take your time with this step, make sure that it looks nice and blended. And then I'm going in with a MAC 224 brush, and I'm just blending everything out. And I'm using this brush since it is a little bit smaller. And then I'm going into the shade Unity with this Sonia Kashuk brush, and I'm just going to use that as my highlighter underneath my brow bone, and it's also going to help everything blend in nice. Then I'm taking a little concealer on this little tiny concealer brush, and I'm just going to go ahead and start carving out my crease. Now, I didn't fast forward this because I really wanted to show you guys how much time and precision it takes to really carve out the crease. I did cut out a little bit of the pieces of it, but just really take your time with this step. And then once you have the shape done right, then you want to start filling in the rest of the eyelid, as well as cleaning up any eyeshadow that might be on the rest of your face. And you can see the difference between when it is carved out versus when it's not carved out. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other time. Again, you really want to take your time with this. Use really short strokes with it. And I did put most of the concealer on the very tip of the brush, and that just kind of helps me have more control as I'm carving out the shape. And again, once you have the shape, then you want to start filling in the rest of the eyelid. And also cleaning up anything that might have gotten on the rest of your face. And then I'm going to go back into that Unity shade, and I'm just going to go ahead and set that concealer just before I put any other eyeshadow on top, so that way it doesn't get blotchy or sticky. And then I'm taking this shade here, and I'm just taking this Morphe M224 brush, but as I was doing it, I realized that it wasn't working for this shade. So I decided to take a more natural haired brush, and it worked a lot better. Plus it was smaller, so it really got really nice and precise, and it really showed the glitter in this Oriasis shade. And I'm putting this mostly on my outer corner, and I'm gonna build up the color as well. And then I'm taking this tiny little angled brush, and I'm just gonna get right underneath that cut crease areas so that way it's nice and precise. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other eye. And again, using that angled brush just to really make sure that underneath the crease that we just created is nice and clean. And then I'm taking one of my favorite shades from the whole entire palette called Dimension, and I'm going to go ahead and take that on that same exact flat brush. And as you see here, it is super pigmented. I barely grabbed any of the eyeshadow and it really showed up very nicely and intense, and I didn't have to use any Fix Plus. So I just apply that on the inner part of my lid, and then I'm going to blend it in with the Oriasis shade. And next I'm going to take the shade Obsidian with that angled brush again, and what I'm going to start doing is kind of creating like a wing-like shape on the outer corner, and then kind of connecting that at the top of the wing to create kind of like a cat eye shape. But we really want to focus it on the bottom of the lash line and as well as near the crease, and kind of blend it into the purple shade, if that makes sense. And then I'm just going to build up that black shade until I get it to the intensity that I like. And you want to make sure that you blend that black into the purple. And then we're going to do the same exact thing on the other eye. And don't worry if it's not a nice crisp line. We're going to go ahead and sharpen that up in a little bit. And then I'm going to go into the shade Parallel again, and I'm taking that on this eyeliner brush, and I'm just going to go ahead and deepen up that color into the crease to really define that brown that's in the crease. And then going back in with my Sigma E25 brush, and I'm just going to go ahead and blend that in. Make sure there's no harsh lines, but this brush really helps to make sure that it keeps the definition of the color. And then I'm going to use my LA Girl eyeliner, and I'm just going to go ahead and line my eyes really quick. And this is what it looks like after I've lined my eyes. And then I'm going to start using a little bit of color corrector just to prep my eyes for concealer. And I'm using an artist brush to go ahead and blend that out. And I usually don't include this step in my tutorials, but I did because I wanted to show you guys the concealer part, which is what we're going to use to actually sharpen up the wing. So I'm using my LA Girl concealer, and I'm going to go ahead and apply that underneath my eyes, kind of create that nice triangle shape. And I decided to use this one because since it does have a brush tip applicator, it's really going to help to sharpen up that line near the wing without me making a total mess. And then I just go ahead and kind of fill in the whole entire triangle area. And then I go ahead and do it on the other eye. And then I'm going to take my artist brush again and just go ahead and start blending out that concealer. And once you get near the wing part, you want to be very careful not to get that concealer onto the eyeshadow. And this is what it looks like when it's nice and cleaned up. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other eye. Alrighty, and this is what it looks like, and I'm going to quickly go ahead and put on some foundation and concealer and all of that stuff. And then I'm going to go ahead and take the color Sphere, which is probably the color that attracts almost everyone. And I'm taking that on a Sigma pencil brush. I forget the exact name of it. I will link it down below for you guys. But I'm just going to go ahead and pack that on in the inner corner. And I just want to continue to pack it on. As you see here, I'm not rubbing it, I'm packing it. And that's just going to really help to build that intensity of the color. And then I'm taking this green eyeliner from Jordana, and I'm just going to go ahead and line my lower waterline. And then I'm taking the shade Eternal, and I'm going to go ahead and use that on that same Sigma brush to kind of start
creating a smoky effect underneath the lash line. But I realized that it wasn't dark enough, so then I took the color Sphinx and put it right on top to see if that would go ahead and kind of build up that orangey color underneath. And I also just kind of wanted to incorporate this color. So then I'm taking the color Throne and I'm taking that on that little angled brush from earlier that we used. And I'm just going to go ahead and put that on my lower lash line to kind of tie everything in together. And then I'm taking the shade Pyramid and I'm taking that on that Sigma brush again and just putting that right in between the shade Sphere and Throne to make sure those two colors blend in nicely. And then I'm taking the color Lucid and I'm going to go ahead and just put that on the very tip of my inner corner to really make it pop. And then I'm going to go ahead and set my face. And once we've done that, then I went ahead and put on some liquid lipstick and the look is complete. I hope you guys did enjoy this look. And as always, if you guys do recreate it, please make sure you guys do use my hashtag so that way I can see your looks. If you have any requests, leave them down below in the comment sections and I will see you guys in the next video. Until then.